All right. Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're tackling something that might not immediately scream excitement, but I promise you it's a total game changer, especially if you find yourself, swimming in spreadsheets.
Spreadsheets, right. Data everywhere.
Exactly. But fear not, because we're about to unlock a hidden superpower. And that superpower lies within this magical little function in Excel called, drumroll please, related.
Related.
It's all part of this secret language within Excel known as DAX, or data analysis expression.
DAX, yeah.
So picture this, okay. You've got two spreadsheets staring back at you, packed with info. But you're trying to connect the dots between them, right?
Like trying to piece together a puzzle, but missing some pieces.
Exactly. Like say you're trying to figure out your total sales for, I don't know, each product category. But that data is split between two different tables.
Frustrating, right?
Oh, I've been there. So many times. Right. But that's where related swoops in to save the day. It creates this bridge, pulling information from one table to another, all based on the relationships you've already set up between them.
It's like a magic bridge
Amazing.
between your data.
It is. It's like having a personal assistant, right?
Yes. Fetching data, just what you need when you need it.
Okay, that all sounds fantastic in theory, but I gotta be honest, sometimes setting up these relationships in Excel can feel a bit like, I don't know, solving a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
It can get a little complicated, a little twisty. So can we break it down? How does this related thing actually work? Like in simple terms?
Absolutely. So think of relationships in Excel like invisible threads.
Okay.
Connecting your tables. Let's say, going back to your example, you have a table for all your sales orders and another for, let's say, product details.
Right.
You'd create this relationship between them based on a shared column, like a product ID.
Right.
So that tells Excel how the tables are linked, where they connect.
Okay, so it's not just about like magically linking any two random tables together, right?
Yeah.
There needs to be this logical connection.
Absolutely.
A shared piece of information.
There has to be that common ground, that shared ID. And this connection has to be what we call a many-to-one relationship.
Many-to-one.
Yeah, so one row in your current table can only be linked to a single row in that related table.
Oh,
Think of it like one customer, right?
yeah.
They can have multiple orders, they can order a bunch of stuff.
We're a big spender.
But each of those orders is linked back to that one specific customer.
Got it.
So it's many orders to one customer.
So once I have that relationship set up, I can use related to basically pull specific information across tables.
Exactly, yeah. And the syntax is pretty simple. It's just related and then in parentheses, the name of the column that you want to bring over.
Okay, so it's just related parentheses, column, close parentheses.
Yep.
So let's say I want to see the product category for each sale in my sales table, right? I would just use related to grab the, the category column from the product details table.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
This brings up kind of another question for me. In the past, I've definitely used VLOOKUP for this kind of task.
Yeah.
Is there ever a time, where VLOOKUP might actually be the better choice over related?
That's a great question. Yeah, VLOOKUP can be useful, sure, for certain things.
Right.
But related, it leverages those relationships that we were talking about.
Right.
And that makes it way more accurate and efficient.
Got it.
Plus, it updates dynamically as your data changes. And that's a huge advantage, right? You don't have to go back and redo everything. VLOOKUP, on the other hand, it can be a little bit static. And, when things change, that's when errors start popping up.
Right.
And it can get really messy with large data sets.
Okay, I'm with you. It's starting to click now why related is so powerful. Yeah. But you did mention earlier that it does have some limitations.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right.
So one thing to keep in mind with related, it really relies on something we call row context.
Row context.
Yeah.
What's that?
So imagine you're looking at one specific row in your table, right?
Right.
Related needs to know which row you're on to pull the correct information from that other table.
Okay.
It's like, it needs a starting point to follow that thread of the relationship.
A starting point. Okay.
You can't just say, hey, go get me this data.
Who needs context?
It needs to know where to start.
Okay. And how about those limited relationships you mentioned earlier? What are those all about?
Right. Yeah. So a limited relationship, that happens when, you have two tables that share a column with like the same values, right? But you haven't actually formally set up a relationship between them in Excel.
Okay.
So related, it can't really bridge that gap where it's that formal link in place.
So setting up those relationships properly is like super crucial. Otherwise, related is going to be like, I don't know what to do.
Exactly, yeah. It's like trying to, drive a car without an engine. It's not going anywhere.
Right. It needs that connection to actually work its magic.
It needs the fuel, to make that connection.
Got it. Okay.
No.
I'm definitely starting to see the bigger picture here. But let's bring it back to like real world applications.
Sure.
How does related actually help us make sense of our data? Give us some examples.
Well, let's, think about it this way. Instead of just seeing these long lists of orders and products,
right,
you can actually understand how they're connected.
Right.
You can calculate things like, let's say, the average sale amount for each product category.
Okay, yeah.
And that kind of information, that can really inform, decisions about pricing or even inventory management.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So it goes beyond just seeing the numbers.
Right.
You're getting insights into the connections.
Okay, that's a perfect example of how, something that seems like, just a little function.
Right.
Can actually lead to some pretty big business insights.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about uncovering those hidden patterns.
It's about taking those numbers and turning them into something meaningful, something actionable.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm sold. Related is officially amazing.
It's pretty cool.
So to sum it up for our listeners, related is like, a data detective, helping us solve these mysteries that are hidden within our spreadsheets.
Yeah, I like that.
Right. It helps us streamline our analysis, saves us from the headaches of like manually looking things up, and ultimately empowers us to make, smarter decisions.
Yeah.
Data-driven decisions.
Absolutely. And it's just the beginning, right?
Right.
Think about all the data that's out there.
Oh, yeah.
What relationships are waiting to be discovered? What can you uncover, right? The possibilities are vast.
They really are.
And with a little bit of, creativity, you can unlock incredible insights that can transform, your work, your business, whatever you're working on.
So to leave our listeners with one final thought, think about the data that you work with every single day. What relationships could you be exploring using related? What hidden connections are just waiting to be discovered? I think we've given you a good starting point. Now go forth and analyze.
Become a data detective.
Until next time, happy analyzing.
See you next time.